Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. And we have with us again, very honored to be with, Judge Andrew Napolitano, a real man of men, someone he's not very well liked because he admires the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, things that have been stolen from us that we're not allowed to think about anymore. Judge, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Gerald. Always a pleasure, no matter what we're talking about.
Well, it's funny. It's not funny. You and I are on the same page on a lot of issues. And you sent me your article that's coming out tomorrow. And it's about the drones, the Jersey drones. Actually, they're up here too in Albany. They're around here, just north of us. And the cover of this week's Trends Journal is the same thing, the drones. And here it is, drone hysteria.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
the Martians are coming. Or is it Uncle Sam's War of the World?
It has terrified a lot of people in the New York metropolitan area. It is undoubtedly the government of the United States. Since I wrote the column, the House Intelligence Committee had a secret briefing from the U.S. intelligence community and the defense community explaining what the drones are. Why secret? What are we, babies? We're not entitled to know what those we have elected to represent us in Washington know, and they're not entitled to tell us? This makes things worse. Oh, just be a good boy, Mr. Salenti, Judge Napolitano. Don't pick up your shotgun. Just mind your own business. Don't worry when we send these drones the size of pickup trucks 500 feet above your house. Nobody means you any harm. Just go to bed and be a good boy. Is that the way the government is treating us? Yes. Is that the government that Madison gave us? Absolutely not.
Again, it's in all due respect, they're not a House intelligence. That's an oxymoron.
Yes, it is.
They're not intelligent. They're arrogant little pieces of scum. They're political pieces of crap that keep robbing us of our rights. As I said in the beginning, half jokingly, that you're a man of honor, that there's nobody that I know, and I ask anybody, show me, tell me, that knows the Constitution, what it really means in the Bill of Rights, and how they keep robbing it from us. And they're robbing it right in front of our eyes. And this article that you wrote over here, it really nails it. Oh, remember when those Chinese balloons were going out all over the place?
For 2 weeks, the whole country watched those balloons float from Alaska to South Carolina. After 2 weeks, the government finally shot them down over the Atlantic Ocean. Gerald, I saw one of these drones. This thing couldn't have been more than 500 feet from me. I don't know if it was manned by AI or by a human being hundreds of miles away who saw what the drone saw. I looked up at the drone. It was perfectly stationary. Within about 10 seconds, it was gone. It took off in a flash.
Wow. So what did you do?
I spoke to the state police. I didn't call 911. I spoke to the state police through back channels, and they sent a helicopter up. And the helicopter zoomed in on it. We don't know if it's the same drone or not. And the drone recognized the helicopter, and it was gone in a flash. It moves much faster than a helicopter. When I asked them if they were equipped to shoot it down, they said, no, we're not allowed to shoot it down. We need permission from the feds to shoot it down. The Congress is the culprit. When the states formed the Constitution, when the states formed the federal government, not the other way around, they gave 16 specific, unique, discrete powers to the federal government. The one they ostentatiously reserved to themselves is public safety. But Congress has taken public safety away from the states and given it to itself, and then gave it to an administrative agency that will do nothing about this. So I'm talking to state troopers who would take a bullet to keep me safe, and they're afraid to shoot this thing down that the feds will come after them. What kind of a warped society have we become?
Well, what kind of warped society? I mean, look at the clown boys and girls that we call Congress. Look at these arrogant little nothings that keep telling us what to do. And again, this thing is out of the news, by the way, now. It's not, I don't see it in any of the major media anymore.
It was big until yesterday when the Trends Journal came out, and when my column came out to the people that get it in advance. Now it's gone. Now the news is the assassination of this Russian general and whatever else they want to feed us.
Very important. When I came out with the book, Trends 2000, it was an international best-selling book. And I was invited to...
That caused us to meet each other because Beck had you on, and he sat you next to me and said, I'm bringing on a guest that you're going to love.
Yeah.
That's an understatement. Anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting.
And anyway, they had me go to the, what's that, the university, with the military university. What's it called? It's down near D.C.
The Army War College?
Virginia Military Institute.
VMI, Virginia Military Institute?
Yeah. So they had me go down there. This is just before 9/11, by the way. And talking about new Millennium Warfare. Now, we're going back, 24 years ago. And I wrote about how it's going to be a whole different type of warfare in the new millennium. We're talking about all these drones, right? Now, you could quadruple, quintuple, whatever, all of those drones. And there ain't no way you're going to stop them from doing what they want. It's a whole different warfare. I mean, what did it start out with, with hammers or whatever, and bows and arrows and shields and catapults, whatever, and planes and it's a whole different warfare. We're talking about all of these drones that people are seeing all over. Imagine those coming from a foreign nation, which they could do like that. Right.
And it makes you wonder how good or poor the government is at protecting us. That this thing got to within 500 feet of my house. Could have destroyed the house. It could have evaporated me if it had the equipment on it. Maybe it does have the equipment on it, but they chose not to. They chose not to do so. You can't blame people for being afraid. Look, Trump himself said, "I'm not going to my house in New Jersey until we find out what the hell this is about." I don't blame him. Trump also said, and on this, he's a man of my own heart. If this happens on my watch, the Defense Department will shoot them down. You will not have the fear that you have now. I hope it doesn't happen on his watch. I hope it doesn't happen again. But if it does, I hope he follows through on what he said.
And again, we don't know if these are U.S. drones or somebody else's.
Correct.
And they won't tell us.
Correct. Oh, they'll tell a few members of Congress in secret and swear those members of Congress to secret. I'm waiting for one of them to do what Dianne Feinstein did. Now, I really didn't agree with her on anything except this. When she got the government's report on torture, it was a secret report, 6,000 pages. It was disgusting reading. It was documentation of everything the Bush-Cheney regime did to torture people throughout the United States and at Guantanamo Bay. And she got it in this same secure place in the Capitol where they did this briefing yesterday. And they reminded her that it was top secret. She told them to go flip off. She walked right over to the floor of the Senate and put it in the hopper in the Senate. And that immediately made it public. And because she did it on the floor of the Senate, she was absolutely protected from prosecution. So I'm waiting for one of the members of this so-called intelligence committee that got the secret briefing to walk onto the floor of the House, grab the microphone and say, let me tell you what they told us. Will anybody have that courage? Hasn't happened yet.
Now, again, look at the clown show. I mean, who's your favorite senator? Little Chucky Schumer? I mean, look at little clowns, one after another. Adam Schiff. one little crap head after another.
Both of them have been ranting and raving about this. And if they know what it is, they know how to tell us so that they can't be punished for revealing a state secret. It is reprehensible that something like this, which has terrified the population, terrified the countryside in New Jersey. I sound like Henry Wadsworth Longfellow in The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, terrifying the countryside. It has terrified the countryside. The public has the right to know. The secrets be damned.
So tell me, how did you see this? What happened?
I was walking Chris, the dog. It was nighttime, and all of a sudden I saw this flashing light, and I figured that's a plane. There's no airport around me, but it's a plane in some unique flight pattern. All of a sudden I saw that it was more than one light. All of a sudden I saw it come toward me, and that was it. I did not have my iPhone. I'm looking up in the sky. I did not have my iPhone with me to take the picture. I stared at it, and all of a sudden it disappeared. It moves very rapidly, and it can turn the lights off, so at night you can't see it.
Wow.
I mean, I was gratified that the state police helicopter went up. It's not equipped to shoot anything down. They are prohibited from using their service weapons to shoot at anything unless it's to save their own lives. And of course, they were told, don't shoot at this damn thing, no matter what the judge tells you, because there's a federal law that we have to comply with. Believe me, if these guys that were in the helicopter, these troopers, if we're up to them, they would have blown this thing out of the sky. But it wasn't up to them. So
anyway,
that's where we are, and now it's off the front page until somebody reveals what the intelligence community told the intelligence committee, air quotes around intelligence, in the secret room in the basement of the Capitol.
Yeah. And again, as I said, it wasn't only in Jersey. They're up around, up in north of us, up here in Kingston, up near Albany. They've seen them as well.
Right. Well, that's a significant difference. From central New Jersey to Albany is a couple of 100 miles.
Yep. Judge, on another note, what's going on in the Middle East is horrific. Oh, by the way, not talking about not having the drones. Again, we write about it, unfortunately, week after week. We keep listing the amount of dead people in the new week that Israel has killed in Gaza. Last night, they just killed another 15. It's day after day, 15, 25, 30, blowing up hospitals and, on and on. Not in the news at all. Empty, it's gone. It's gone. And now the overthrow of Assad in Syria, and Israel, according to the latest numbers, has bombed Syria over 500 times.
Wow.
Wiping out
with American bombs.
Yep.
Wow.
Where do you see this going?
I think that Netanyahu will steal as much land as he can until the Turks stop him, because they want to steal the land. And then they'll probably enter into some sort of a truce. You get this chunk of Syria and we get that chunk. Trump's not going to stop Netanyahu. He's going to enable him because of domestic politics. So this is a major, unexpected victory for Netanyahu. It's a strategic defeat for the Russians, who have other things on their hands. The Russians warned Assad for years he needs to generate more popular support by being less draconian and more free market, and he wasn't. And paid his army so miserably that the CIA was able to bribe his generals, and he fled. I mean, some of this is reprehensible. The State Department, I rarely agree with what the State Department does, but the State Department characterized this group, HTS, which is just a renamed ISIS, as a terrorist organization. Now, when the State Department or the Treasury Department, this is federal law now, going back to the Bush-Cheney years, characterizes a foreign group as a terrorist organization, it is a felony to provide material assistance to that organization, whether you're a dentist drilling Osama bin Laden's teeth, or whether you're an electrician fixing the Wi-Fi in his house. You provide material assistance to a terrorist organization, you can be prosecuted. There are people in federal jails in the United States who fell victim to FBI stings, who thought they were providing material assistance to a terrorist organization. Of course, it wasn't a terrorist group. It was a bunch of FBI agents that hadn't shaved and had fake accents. I give you this as background because this group that is characterized as a terrorist organization is headed by this guy, Al-Jilani. The State Department, the same State Department that declared his group a terrorist organization, are you ready for this number? Has put a $10 million bounty on his head. The CIA gave him cash and trained his fighters. Now, if that isn't providing material assistance to a terrorist organization, I don't know what is. Yesterday, he met with representatives of the government of King Charles III.
Yeah.
Put it that way just to taunt you a little. You and I have the same view of monarchy. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, sent some emissaries to meet with this guy personally. First thing he said is, you got to drop the bounty on my head, because the Brits have a bounty on his head as well. And you have to drop the terrorist organization. We're now the legitimate government. We don't know if they said yes, but they probably did. That's the despicable, immoral, unlawful, counterproductive government of the United States. We have no friends. We have no enemies. We just have lasting interests.
You know, tracking trends, of course, is the understanding of where we are and how we got here to see where we're going. And how did we get here in Syria? Oh, let's go back to 2011, when the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Obama, got rid of Gaddafi and wanted to get rid of Assad and started that revolution in Syria. Syria was, you know, regardless of whether you hated Assad, or the country was doing fine before that. It was a great tourist destination.
Well, Damascus is the oldest continuously operating city in the world. In the world. The Israelis military is now only about 25 miles from Damascus. I guess they're going to decide whether they or Erdogan and the Turks get it.
Yeah. Again, look, this is all brought about by Obama when they've been trying to overthrow the government,
Yep.
you know, since 2011.
Yep. In both instances, Gerald, Libya and Syria, he used the CIA so that he didn't have to report it to the Congress and to the public, which he would have had to have done if he used the military. But who actually orchestrated this for Obama? Hillary Clinton. I'm ruining your breakfast.
No, you mean Hillary Clinton.
Right.
So Hillary Clinton, Samantha Powers, and Susan Rice.
Right.
They were the three behind it. And I'm tired of hearing this stuff. Oh, if only women were in charge. That's a lot of crap. Good and bad comes in every race, creed, color, gender. Don't want to hear that anymore. Again, people have no idea of what they've caused. And now Israel is stealing more and more land in violation of all of the Geneva Conventions, on and on and on. And they're getting away with it.
Right. They're getting away with it because the U.S., which has only one ally in all of this, our poodle, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, because the U.S. enables it.
Yep.
And the U.S. veto at the United Nations prevents the UN from doing anything about it. Netanyahu, though rejoicing, continues to be isolated, and the prosecutions of him for bribery and corruption continue. But that's the only thing that's going to fell him. He is the king of the hill right now in Israel because they see the fall of Syria as a great opportunity for them. Colonel McGregor predicts that Netanyahu will talk Trump into waging war on Iran because the U.S. wants a major war, and that's our next war of opportunity. It's written a terrific piece, terrifying but terrific.
The
war with Iran is coming.
The matter of fact, we had in the Trends Journal an article about Trump saying he wanted, that it was terrible that the Palestinians are being killed, that the Jewish people are being killed, that the Russian people are being killed, and the Ukrainian people are being killed, and he wants peace. But then he keeps going on, and then he mentions about Iran, that we have to stop Iran. I'm going back, he said this last week. So it looks like, and again, it was Trump that wiped out Soleimani, the Iranian general. And Trump has also said that when Israel and Iran were exchanging attacks, that they should bomb their nuclear facilities and oil fields. So I think Trump is very pro-Iran war from the words that he's saying.
He's deluded by the characters around him, from Lindsey Graham to Marco Rubio to Mike Waltz to that crackpot Sebastian Gorka. Iran poses no threat whatsoever to the national security of the United States. And the new president of Iran, who was a cardiac surgeon, wants nothing but the sanctions lifted so we can engage in peaceful commercial intercourse. Not going to happen. The donor class, the lobby in the United States, Mrs. Adelson and her buddies have an iron grip on the Trump presidency. To a person, his top people, including our buddy RFK Jr., our former buddy RFK Jr., are ardent Zionists.
Yep.
No way will they allow free trade with Iran because Bibi won't let them.
And what do you think is going to happen with the Gaza war? Are they just going to keep it going?
Until Jared Kushner can develop the real estate into seaside mansions.
Yeah.
That's what he said at Harvard. I'm not making this up. You can Google the clip.
Oh, I know. We wrote about it.
Yeah, you wrote about it. You ran the clip, right?
Yep. Very valuable waterfront property.
That was his phrase. Correct.
And we should move. The Palestinians should be moved to the Negev desert.
Yeah.
I mean, this is genocide by definition.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And they keep coming out with this baloney week after week that they're close to peace talks. They've only been saying this over a year. And again, nobody wants to admit that Hamas has agreed to a peace if there was a permanent ceasefire. And Israel refuses to agree to a permanent ceasefire.
Well, Netanyahu can't afford a permanent ceasefire. Then his domestic problems start to grow. What about the 10,000 Palestinians in Israeli jails who've never been charged or prosecuted for crimes, some of whom were born in the jails? What about releasing them?
Yeah. Oh, no, Palestinian lives don't matter. It's so sad. And again, it's very heartbreaking. And to write about this, read about it every day, and to see that our country is giving them the weapons to keep killing all these people and stealing our money to do it.
Yes.
Well, Judge, thank you for being on. And we're going to be taking a holiday. And everybody go to Judging Freedom, judgingfreedom.com, judgingfreedom.com. Judge, what kind of guests you have coming up?
I have the great Colonel Douglas McGregor today at 1:00, and the great Phil Giraldi at 3:00. Two of our closest friends and ideological compatriots.
It's so sad that this is going on and there's no outrage. And by the way, we're going into the Christmas season. I was thinking, that they say that Christ was born in Bethlehem. No, it's the West Bank now. It's not Christ was born in the West Bank. Wasn't born in Bethlehem. I mean, what's going on is just terrible. And where are all the religions that this is the time of peace on earth, the holiday season in honor of the birth of Christ? Where are all of these religions that call themselves believers in Christ? How come they're not out there demanding peace?
I don't know. The Pope is in Corsica visiting the grave of Napoleon. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Napoleon. Yep. Well, I like a Napoleon. Yeah, a Napoleon. Whether that's the Italian pastry, right? A Napoleon.
There you go. The Lion of Naples.
Judge. Well, anyway, we're going to be taking 2 weeks off. Everybody go to Judging Freedom because the judge is going to keep going on. But we're going to take a Christmas holiday. Judge, thanks for being on, and we'll see you in the new year.
Thank you, Gerald. God love you.